Finally, some news for a game that I'm genuinely excited for, worth talking about. A new trailer for Last of Us Part 2 dropped during Sony's Paris Games Week 2017 press conference, and holy shit do we need to talk about this. Naughty Dog took an interesting route with this one. Instead of making it about Joel and Ellie, they introduced a new cast of characters, leaving us to formulate our own theories as to who, what, when, and where this might all be. I say challenge accepted, so here are some little details and secrets that I noticed from the footage. Obviously, if you haven't watched the trailer yet, go check it out first and then come back to watch this video. First things first, I want to talk about the game's graphics for a bit, which are simply some of the most incredible I've seen in a video game. The textures, the polygons, the lighting, the particle effects, the foliage, the clothes and hair physics, it's all just technically and artistically top-notch. I also don't think I need to dive into detail about why facial animations look so great here. These are actors being performance captured from head to toe, and considering how much amazing talent you've got in this game, you can bet your ass that the fidelity of character models and animations are going to be absolutely stellar. But perhaps the most impressive thing I found was the way flesh and muscle contorts in this game. For example, check out this moment in which the mystery female character's nose brushes over the pavement. In any other game, the nose would probably just clip through or something. It's a small detail that many game designers wouldn't really pay attention to, but in this game, you can see the nose reacting realistically as it makes contact with a physical object. It's such a small detail, but it goes a long way in selling a sense of realism and immersion. And check this out, when Emily points a knife towards the mystery character's belly, you can see her stomach expanding and contracting in rapid succession in rhyme with her breathing. Then, when Emily pokes her knife, you can see the skin sink in a little bit in reaction to the knife, with some blood being drawn along the way. To me, beyond textures and polygons, it's stuff like this that blows me away, the attention to detail. Alright, I'll stop gushing about the game's visual fidelity for now. Let's talk about characters, starting with Emily, who Naughty Dog has confirmed is being played by Emily Swallow. Now, obviously, she dies at the end, so she might not end up being a huge character in the final game, which is probably why Naughty Dog's Twitter account specifically uses the words guest appearance for the character's actor. But some of Emily's dialogue did catch my attention. For example, when she points her knife at the mystery female character, she says, "They are nested with sin."
They are nested with sin.
Then, when she captures this other character, whose name Naughty Dog confirmed on Twitter to be Yara, she asks, "Where is the other apostate?"
Where is the other apostate?
The word apostate means a person who renounces a religious or political belief or principle, the opposite of apostle, basically. Furthermore, she also says things like clip her wings instead of break her arms.
Clip her wings.
Which has further clear religious connotations. So it's highly likely that Emily is part of some kind of religious cult whose ultimate goals and intentions are still unknown, other than that they're chasing down apostates like Yara here. Coming in to save the day is this young-looking fellow whose name Naughty Dog confirmed on Twitter to be Lev. I think it's safe to say that Lev is the other apostate that Emily was referring to. The relationship between Yara and Lev is still a mystery, but at the very least, they do seem to be part of the same faction, which may also have religious elements, judging by how Lev calls the infected demons.
Demons are coming.
Lev also points to the mystery female character who is currently hanging to death and says,
"She's one of them." Lev.
As if to further separate himself and Yara from whatever her faction may be. Now, when most people look at this mystery female character, I'm sure most of their knee-jerk reaction is going to be that this is none other than Ellie, especially since the character looks so much like Ashley Johnson, the actor who does the vocal, facial, and body performance for Ellie. But Naughty Dog has already confirmed that she's a brand new character being played by Laura Bailey, whose identity they're keeping a secret. If you go to their Twitter account, one of their tweets has a picture of the new character attached with the message, and finally, Laura Bailey is blank 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 blank. So all we know is that the character isn't Ellie, but looks like the actor playing Ellie, and that her name is 4 letters long. If you ask me, it's almost certain that these 4 letters spell out Anna, who we know to be the name of Ellie's mother, which means that what the trailer is most likely showing us here is a flashback. It's easy enough for Naughty Dog to transpose aspects of Ashley Johnson's facial appearance into Laura Bailey's performance. They've already shown a demo of the technology that allows them to morph faces around actors live. As for the muscular body, the model that they used for that was a woman going by the name of Colleen Foch, as game director Neil Druckmann confirmed on his Instagram. Long story short, this female character is an amalgamation of Ashley Johnson's face, Colleen Foch's body model, and Laura Bailey's facial and body performance, and I'm quite confident in stating that this can only be Ellie's mother, Anna. It is also my belief that at this point, Anna is already pregnant with Ellie, as noted by how Emily goes out of her way to lift her shirt before pointing the knife directly at her belly, almost as if threatening something else besides Anna's life. But judging by the normal size of Anna's belly, we are probably looking at the early stages of pregnancy. With that in mind, we know that in The Last of Us lore, the cordyceps pandemic began in 2013. Last of Us 1 takes place 20 years later in 2033 when Ellie is 14 years old, and Last of Us Part 2 takes place 5 years after that in 2038 when Ellie is 19 years old. If we subtract 19 years and 9 months of pregnancy from 2038, let's round that out to an even 20 years, we can surmise that the events of the trailer takes place sometime in the year 2018, just 5 years after the advent of the cordyceps pandemic. Now, we already know that whereas Last of Us 1 centered around Joel's journey, Last of Us Part 2 will center around Ellie's, and her mother's story is bound to be a big part of that, which is why I believe that the game is structured so that we'll be playing as both Ellie in 2038 and Anna in 2018 in parallel, with their stories narratively and thematically converging by game's end. This is further hinted by these two posters for Last of Us Part 2 that Naughty Dog released. The one on the left is clearly Ellie's arm holding her switchblade. As for the one on the right, many assume that this was a poster for Joel, but as it turns out, the poster is actually showing Anna's arm holding a hammer identically to how she's doing it in the new trailer. You can also see how the two posters are basically mirror images of each other, parallel yet opposites, which further lends credence to the notion that these two stories will run in parallel with opposing narrative, thematic, and gameplay tones. Perhaps these posters even hint that much of Ellie's journey will take place in lush, overgrown environments, while much of Anna's journey will take place in these ravaged, fiery, urban areas. Makes sense when you think about how for Anna, it's only been 5 years since the cordyceps outbreak. There's bound to be much less overgrowth in 2018. For Ellie, on the other hand, it's been 25 years since the cordyceps outbreak, which is a lot of time for overgrowth to fester, as we already saw in Last of Us 1, which takes place 20 years after the outbreak. One last thing I'd like to point out about the posters is that they each emphasize a spirit animal of sorts. For Ellie's, it's the moth, and for Anna, it's the wolf, each of which carry their own set of symbolism. So to summarize everything, I believe that the trailer is showing us a flashback scene from 2018 in which a religious cult that this Emily character is a part of is chasing and hunting down people who don't conform to the faction's principles, or people who used to be apostles of the cult, betrayed their principles, and became apostates. Seemingly among these traitors or apostates are Anna, Ellie's pregnant mom, Yara, and Lev, who help and save each other from both the cultists and the incoming demons or infected. And perhaps this marks the beginning of a bond between these characters that will take Anna through a narrative journey in 2018 that goes in parallel with Ellie and Joel's journey in present-day 2038. And perhaps Anna's journey will eventually culminate into that teaser image of Last of Us American Daughters, where we see a much more pregnant woman who bears a strong resemblance to her daughter-to-be Ellie. Perhaps we will finally see the events leading up to Anna's letter to her daughter seen in The Last of Us 1, which reads, "Life is worth living. Find your purpose and fight for it. I see so much strength in you. I know you'll turn out to be the woman you're meant to be. Forever your loving mother, Anna. Make me proud, Ellie. So yeah, there you go, folks. My thoughts and theories on the brand new Last of Us Part 2 trailer. What do you think? Any corrections, additions, or alternate theories that you'd like to present? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you liked this video and enjoy my content, consider supporting me on Patreon. All contributions will go towards helping us remain 100% independent. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.